Test. Ah, there we go. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Ashes of Creation discussion round, the longest running podcast for Ashes of Creation. And as it just so happened, we already having audio issues and everything else.
That's how you know it's a real Ashes podcast.
Exactly. So, how is everybody doing?
Doing good. Doing
well today. Busy with work. I almost missed this completely.
Oh yeah, I noticed. I said, guys, today we have Vertic on. They are doing a really professional podcast. 30 minutes before we get going, everybody in voice, everybody in the call, so I can set everything up. Everybody showed up like 5 minutes right before the podcast. As a reminder, for those of you who are watching and those of you going to come in later, every time after we're done with the podcast, we will be on the Ashes Creation Discord talking about Ashes for an hour. It's called the After Hour with us. I don't know if Vertic is going to join us. I think we're going to see because he's a busy guy. But if you want to join us, feel free to join us. And yeah, Vertic and Chibi, his life partner, they also run a really good podcast, The Golden Feather. I highly recommend you check it out. Otherwise, I will haunt you in your dreams. And trust me, you do not want that. And let's get right into the topics. What is the first topic, Yoni? What do you want to talk about?
Well, we have for news topics. We have Intrepid Studios Content Creator Program, the Alpha 1 schedule updates. Fine, Alpha 1 schedule updates. That's what people care about.
Alpha 1. All right, there we go. Stackerson, I think I gave you homework, right?
Kind of, yeah.
You want to start us off?
Why they're delaying the tests?
Yeah, delay the test and like all that stuff.
I mean, it's
okay. Let me rephrase. Let me make it easier for you. Did you see anything in the explanation that Steven gave from a technical standpoint that raised any flags for you?
No, it all made sense. I was kind of happy to hear it. Like, for example, like the deployment thing. That's something you don't normally talk about, but that's pretty important. It's really nice to be able to fix things in a quick way. So.
BCG you need to swap over because Vertex has Stackerson's name and Stackerson has Vertex's name.
No, let me fix
that. I wasn't
role playing today.
Oh. I'm working on my roleplay character. Trust me. I'm working on
that. Doing right now. I'm trying to get into character here.
No, you gotta totally 100%.
All right, let's. Was there anything in the letter? Was there anything in the explanations or anything that Steven gave that you guys didn't agree with? You guys found fishy, or did you guys all just like it like instantly?
Me, I guess I'll start with that one. I thought it all made sense. I mean, try as I might, I always try to look at the other side of things and try to play devil's advocate, and I couldn't find anything to like poke holes in or whatnot. I know beforehand, like with the delay and all that, I was saying, it'd be like a big PP move for him to be like, yeah, we don't want to interfere with like Blizzard's launch and stuff. So like, all these other games, we don't want to hurt them. But it came out in the letter as no, there's a lot of stuff, and we don't want to have somebody choose or make somebody choose between playing this game or that game or testing our game, which requires a whole lot of attention. So I actually thought it was a good explanation and reason why.
I mean, that made sense for me. It makes sense for me. But I don't know if it was a choice that was mostly driven by testing purposes or by marketing. You know what I mean? Because we do, like, there's no constant tests,
Well, I mean,
you talking about,
I guess I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Are you talking about the month-long test just being there, or are you talking about like dropping the NDA?
I mean, even if okay, let me put it this way. Even during the month-long test, I personally have high doubts that people that will have access will play Alpha 1 for the entire month, non-stop.
Yeah, there's going to be very few people that do, and the people that do are going to be so dedicated in testing that they're going to try to break everything that they can. And that's
Exactly.
going to
As
be
you
their
should.
game.
As you should.
Yeah,
As you should.
exactly.
So now I'm thinking is, was the main driving force really to free people up so they could test, or was it, to not compete with the other games?
Well, I mean, that's kind of both,
They had
right?
multiple.
Yeah,
Because
I know,
if
it's both.
there's when a game releases, that's like the fun time to play, and if your month-long test overlaps with the release of a game, that's going to impact the number of people who want to test the game over play the live.
No,
Yeah, exactly. Because you're gonna make people choose between playing with their friends or which they're totally dedicated to. Like if they're especially hardcore raiders, are probably the ones who are also hardcore testers, and really want to get all the data out there to make sure it's a solid thing. So if they're like a hardcore raider in a hardcore guild and you're trying to push, or even a hardcore PvP person, you still need to be max level to do max level PvP. So they're gonna want to get in there. They're gonna want to push with their guild. And it's either that or you test. And the dedicated people are going to be so split between them that they're not going to succeed in either, or one's going to be completely set aside 100%.
I agree. I'm just wondering at this point, and let me. What are your thoughts on Intrepid giving any further dates?
You mean pushing things back?
Yeah, giving
Or-
dates and then delaying them, pushing back, and then delaying them again, and giving dates again. I mean, we're used to it, and it doesn't bother
But
us anymore.
remember when
It's-
we didn't have dates and you started to get upset about it? Because it's kind of nice to still have an idea of what they're shooting for. Even if they constantly push it back, it's nice knowing, okay. And
I
it's
mean-
it's kind of frustrating if you take time off work or something around that date, but
I mean, yes and yes. I got frustrated because we didn't know what was going on, but I wasn't the only one. Like, we had times where we didn't know what the hell, Remember those information droughts? Yeah, so...
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So how did you guys feel about the overall, like, the fact that it got delayed again? Didn't bother any of us, right?
Honestly, I would say I'm bothered, but I look at it in the way of if there's a date given with the disclaimer of this might change based on testing, and that date changes, it's frustrating and it sucks. But at least we had a date. At least we had some idea of what they're aiming for. But if they had a date and they just stuck with it and things went south, that's not annoying. That's not irritating. That's not frustrating. That's devastating. Like, that's to the entire content creator community, to the entire Ashes community in general, to the game itself, and to the studio itself. That's kind of devastating when things crash and burn.
You guys said that there were people that took time off.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that took time off.
Like,
There are a lot of
really?
content creators that were planning on. There were a lot of content creators that were dead set on streaming that stuff. There were people that took time off to test. So with the people that took time off to test, for test for week longs and for the it's alpha. There's a level of commitment for if you're saying oh, I'm going to go hardcore in Ashes Creation. You want to be there for all the alphas. You want to make a name for yourself. You want to be there to study all the elements of the game and stuff like that. And then there's also people that are thinking, oh, this isn't a test. I'm looking to play the game as soon as possible. They're not looking at a test. They're looking at the game's release. Even though, like Steven said, don't buy the $500 upgrade pack to be able to play the game. You're buying this to test the game. Don't buy it if you're don't. He straight up said don't buy it. Unless you're wanting to test.
I mean, it even says that on the new Alpha 1 packs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let me answer this. I talked about this in one of my streams. I in my opinion, the only people that could or should have a reason to be upset about the NDA. I mean, we're still testing. We're still testing. Let's be clear about this. We're still testing the game. The testing is still going on. The only thing that got delayed is the NDA drop. And the only people that are upset, in my opinion, about this are people that want to make content about it. But in my opinion, even those people do not have the right to complain about it, because the end goal of all of this is to have a great game when it comes out. So them complaining about a delay of the NDA is pretty much just them complaining about not having the chance to ride the hype wave that Peon created last year. Would that be a correct argument for me to make?
No. Or so like a lot of people are even with the content creators that are like well-known content creators, or people that like people are understanding of the fact that like, hey, you only have one chance to reveal, like you only have one first impression.
Yes.
And when the NDA drops, that's people's first impressions of Ashes of Creation, the game, not the BR. This is the first impression of where they are in development, how things are going, like where we are, what the game looks like right now, what it could possibly look like for the future, or how long it's going to take, so on and so forth. And when the NDA drops and people start streaming it all over the place, you got Lazy Peon's probably gonna make videos about it. He's probably gonna stream it. You got Asmongold's gonna stream it. I think he's already said he's gonna stream it. Everyone's gonna, like, all the big streamers and all the people that are all the new people that are wanting to like use Ashes of Creation as their way to get big.
But should they have the right to complain about the delay? Because everybody knows.
I don't think they are complaining.
Okay, just I'm not saying they are. I'm just like wondering what you guys think, because I know people are. Some people on the Discord were complaining, and I just wanted to get your guys' opinion, because Vertek, you're also a content creator. You only have your podcast. I know you do a little bit of streaming. Stackerson, I don't even know if you stream. No.
I set up my Twitch account though this week.
Woo! That's the first step.
And by set up, I made a picture.
Okay, was there anything else in the Alpha 1 schedule update that you guys want to talk about? Anything interesting?
They gave a date for their move.
They gave a date for their move.
They said what was going on with the move, and like with how they're dealing with COVID and stuff like that. And
exactly.
They gave a date for that. They gave a date for their move. That's one of the reasons why they pushed it back, along with the WoW stuff and all that stuff. But probably a lot of people have commented on the WoW stuff. But yeah, they gave a date for their move, which is good. We know, hey, we should be in the studio.
When was that date again? I mean, I don't find it right now.
It was in June.
I don't.
June?
Yeah.
If I remember correct.
Yeah, it was something silly like June 6th or something.
June 6th.
That sounds about right.
So, when do you guys expect for us to see a studio tour?
I don't know about studio tour. Probably get a good. Maybe Steven will do like a little quick studio tour just to show off some stuff when July or June 6th, whatever date is. He might take the phone and do like a little quick TikTok video, or like post like something on Twitter or Facebook, post it up on Discord. He might do like a quick thing like that. Maybe he's done it before. I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility for him to do something like that, but we might see an early look at how the new streaming setup. Because Market's been wanting a streaming setup for a while now, and with COVID, that was pushed back in their current streaming setup, which isn't bad. They're doing really good with COVID.
I mean, it's still not as great as ours, but
but yeah,
that was a joke, by the way.
Hopefully, we get that new streaming setup that month, and they may show off some stuff and how things are going with the studio move.
Yeah, I have a feeling that like as soon as they go to open the doors to start loading stuff in, Steven's gonna do a hey, look, here's the studio, check it out, here's the space we're filling, and then probably an after it's filled video.
Yeah, they should do like 2-in-1 videos, like do a before and after video, like like little zoom in, zoom out, transition before after.
They will. And then when the holiday season comes around, Steve, like when Halloween comes around, they love to do the whole like studio. Steven loves to do take the camera across the studio and show off everyone's costumes and stuff like that.
True. Anything else in the letter you guys want to talk about? Otherwise, we're gonna jump to the next topic.
I can't think of anything.
Okay, Yoni, what's the
All
next
good here.
topic?
Let's go ahead and go with the content creator program.
All right, I guess we're gonna tackle that one. All right, content creator program, the big one. Then creator program. I just call it season. Okay, so
Quick update, like this content creator program has been, like, for everyone that's not aware, the content creator program has been out of commission for a while now.
more than
Like
2
the old
years.
content more than 2 years. Margaret has been trying to get it going again for a while now. She's wanted to wait for the update, website updates and stuff like that. Website's finally updated. We finally got the content creator program going now. And they're not requiring you to have numbers. Like you're pretty much you can be a new content creator that just wants to like do Asher creation content. You don't have to be a big streamer. You don't have to be Lazy Peon. You don't have to be Asmongold. You can just be a new fresh face on YouTube or Twitch and make Asher creation content and sign up for the content creator program.
Which I find a good thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be great for a lot of people. Honestly, even like you were mentioning Golden Feather, even for us, that's gonna be good.
I mean, you
because
guys, honestly, if
we're smaller. We still are when compared to like the big boys out there.
Listen. If they don't take you, I literally just gonna stop doing whatever I do. Just gonna pack my stuff and just like be like, okay, whatever. The world doesn't make sense anymore. Because you guys do good content. You do like interesting content. You get people on there, and you guys talk about the fun things about Ashes, which makes sense. I like that they do not have any set numbers. I don't know what methods or if they use any metrics in the back end. I don't know if what their process is of getting finding the best ones. When I worked at my old job, we had a content creator program, and we had like strict metrics that people had to reach to be even considered. And we made it all completely automated at a point where if you had I don't know, let's say 30 average viewers on Twitch, and you were in one of the categories that was interesting for us, you got in no matter what, and you got your monthly stuff, yada yada yada. So it is always interesting for me to see how other studios do it. And I liked the way they phrased a lot of things, and I have to give respect to Margaret, because this, like the way it's phrased, it makes it really sound interesting for a lot of content creators, big ones and small ones. There's only one thing that I don't want to say I'm not a fan of. It's just something that worries me a little bit. A little critique. It's little. I don't know if it's a critique. I don't know I don't know. It's not like me, Steve, and Margaret, we're best buddies and we talk every second day during brunch about what's going on. I just remember, and some of you who are watching, you might remember way back in the day with It's Vertec. Were you in the program back then?
No, I've never been in the content creator program.
Okay, so way back in the day, there was this whole thing where content creators got removed because they said something bad, and Steven gave like this little speech, like he got removed. He got booted from the Discord.
He did get removed,
he
but
got,
He kind of
Ziz
went a little far,
he
which is why.
I mean, I mean, let's be honest here. We get called. I don't know what we get called negative on this podcast. We get called salty sometimes. I think that's mostly because of me. I'm gonna take that bullet. I don't care. But we never got to a point where we insult or we get really, really toxic. I mean, that's fair, right?
So
yeah. So, anyways, to get back to because we're going off track again. Anyways, Ziz said something really, really bad. He got removed as a content creator. He got removed from the Discord. He got removed from the community. And Steven made this little speech about what he wants in content creators. I have a screenshot. I'm not gonna share that because I don't think I can. I think I should, because that was back when I was an official content creator. But to rephrase Steven, he said he didn't want white knights or people that are completely biased when it comes to Ashes. He wants, fair, honest critique, opinions, yada yada yada, which I mostly based this podcast around, or I redesigned the podcast and most of my content now, which I never had a problem with. Now the thing that worries me a little bit is they use the phrase brand ambassador, right? Brand ambassador. In my opinion, brand ambassadors, in my experience, brand ambassadors are people that they represent your brand, so they never say anything out of line or bad about your product. What do you guys think about that? That's just
I think
the phrasing.
I think they're fine with critiques. I don't like the thing with Idz is like during that podcast he was saying things that were inaccurate.
Yes.
Like they were inaccurate facts, and that's what like if you're labeled brand ambassador, I think they want you to be saying things that are accurate and not things that aren't like not inaccuracies. I think they're fine with criticism. I agree 100%. I don't like White Knights, and I don't watch White Knight content. I prefer, like, if you love something, you should be able to like, I love certain anime, and I will criticize the crap out of certain things, like those anime, those video games. I will criticize the crap out of things I love. And you should be able to.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think the term ambassador, like, think of the term ambassador where it came from, even representing a country, right?
All right.
So you're going from one country to be an ambassador towards another. And when you go there, you want to be able to be professional, to be above board, to be able to talk with them like they would want to be talked to, and be able to treat them like they would want to be treated. And at the same time, you want to build trust with them. So you have to admit, like, yeah, there's some things that, our country needs to work on, and we'd like to, connect with you and get that fixed up, blah, blah, blah. I think it's kind of the same thing with a brand ambassador for something like a game. Is you don't want to talk trash, like tear down in a super negative way, but admitting, hey, yeah, there's some stuff to work on. Like, yeah, the animations, they've already said they've only taken like a first pass through some stuff. So yeah, that's going to improve, and it needs improvement. But, I think they're doing a good job, etc. Like that. You can totally say that things need work without saying that it's trash.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I'll be honest, sometimes on this podcast, we give our opinion if we don't like something, right? If it's me with the fireball animations and the levitation, if it's Yoni and the bears, I'm gonna turn this into a T-shirt. I'm just gonna say one of these days I'm gonna make a T-shirt with Yoni and the bears.
You should. It would make great merchandise.
And
merchandising
like Staggerson likes mostly everything, so and I know from what is it, like 2 years now since we took the content creator Discord live, like 2 years. There's so many different size-wise content creators. Okay, mostly all of them on the small size, let's be honest, because I mean we got Lazy P on the Discord, so that's a plus thing. But there are so many really dedicated content creators that only focus on Ashes, that Intrepid really has their pick on who they want to take. That's the thing. That's what I think is pretty freaking awesome, because Okay, I'm gonna say this once. So, Maggie, I know you're watching. I'm just only gonna say this once. All right. I wouldn't even be mad if they wouldn't pick me or any, Yoni or Stackerson. I wouldn't even be mad if they don't pick us as being part of the content creator program. As long as they pick guys like, you Vertec, Jaylon, guys that are really dedicated to the project. And I've been telling you this since the first time I was on your podcast. You guys do a great job, and I'm going to promote the shit out of you every chance I get. So as long as they pick content creators that are really dedicated to the project and really have their heart and soul into it, I'm completely fine with not getting picked. I'm completely fine with that, because then I know that, okay, they pick people that I know that are dedicated to the thing, instead of somebody that comes from, I don't know, fucking Final Fantasy. Never really paid attention to Ashes, but has the numbers. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, and I see that. And I definitely appreciate those words, man.
Oh,
It means a lot, especially with someone. I mean, you're involved in like a lot of stuff in the community and digging around and helping people out.
Let's
so
not get
I mean,
emotional because otherwise I'm gonna get toxic. Just I have to keep my rep up. Okay, enough of the content creator program. Next topic.
We could talk about so like good segue into the criticism thing, like people being open and like saying what they want. Probably the Stephen Reddit post.
Oh yeah, shit talking. Yes, please. Yes.
So people are like Stephen made a comment on Discord. I don't have it on me right now. I probably should.
Wait,
I do. I have it pulled up.
Okay, you want to read that off to us real quick? The Discord, the Discord one, not the Reddit post, but the Discord post.
Yeah, this thing was well, it was the Discord one that was copied and pasted up on Reddit.
Oh yeah, I could.
That's the one that I have.
Talking about the New World comment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So New World came out with an announcement. We're on New World podcast. We're not going to talk about that. But
can somebody make a Steven voice and read that?
I've never practiced a Steven impression. I don't want to attempt it.
I'm not going to do it either.
Yeah, I don't want to do it dirty.
I mean, we only got 2 guys with glasses, so me and Yoni are out. So if anybody has to do it, then
I actually have. I'm prescribed to wear glasses. I just don't.
All right. Let me find it real quick.
I have it. I really enjoy how it was stated they would include quality of life items like level boost and trade skill boost, but nothing that affected competitive aspects of the game. Question mark, exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point. Why you do this, Amazon? I was flattered that you drew inspiration from some of my designs, but honestly, who TF made this decision? I just want some new blood in the genre, FFS. And so like people liked that post. That's straight from like people like when people like Steven because he says what he thinks and like he's upfront about things. Like you don't get that a lot from developers. People actually like this post. You go on Reddit, people like this post. They want him to talk. You go on the videos that people have made about this. They like the fact that Steven talks like this. Every time he does an interview with a content creator, stuff like this. And then like later on after this post, he goes on to Reddit. He's on Reddit and makes a gigantic Reddit post. I'm not gonna read someone else that's better at reading.
I'm not reading the Reddit post.
Can read that one.
So in the Reddit post,
he apologizes for
which
for
I did not like. Which I did not like him apologizing.
You scroll down, you see BCG that you don't no need to apologize.
Exactly.
And people have said like.
Let me say this because I want to defend why I said he doesn't need to apologize. I've been playing MMORPGs and gaming since EverQuest since 1999. So I know I look like I'm 20, but you know I've been around the block. And over the past decade, it has become more and more suit controlled, meaning people are always like politically correct. People are always like, yeah, you know, PR related, and we cannot say bad things, yada yada yada. And along comes Steven, right? And just straight up says it how he thinks, right to one of the biggest companies on the planet, right? Straight up telling them, hey, listen, this is bullshit. This is just stupid. And I made it, I gotta make a video about this because I said a couple bad things on Twitch. But anyway, so I'm like, yes, I know now. I remember why I followed this guy in the first place. I remember why I gave the guy a hug at Gamescom in 2018. Because he is a gamer. He's not like one of those guys who wants to sell his product. He wants to make his game, and he says it how it is. So I really did appreciate the Discord post, but the Reddit thing, I was like, yeah, you don't have to apologize. Because the 90%, 95%, 99% of the people that read this Reddit post or read your Discord comment, I agree with you. That was my whole take on the thing. Vertic, what was your whole take?
Honestly, like I just like that he has kind of minimal filter like that, and I'm pretty much on the same point. Like he didn't really need to apologize. I think it's acceptable that he did. I don't have anything against him apologizing. I mean, the statement was correct. He says it was unprofessional or what have you, but at the same time, he didn't necessarily trash the game so much as like a decision that was made about the game. So I don't think there was really a need for apology. He just kind of put out his opinion on something and didn't really tear it down, I don't think. But that may be a biased view. Maybe I am biased.
I kind of agree. I agree. Yeah, it wasn't really trashing the whole project. It was kind of just one decision. He was being very critical of them, which has been an like pretty well voiced issue in the community for a while now.
Yeah, and honestly, I liked it. I mean, it was a strong opinion. It was right up front, and again, he didn't even tear down like an individual.
No.
He didn't say this person needs to be fired or whatever. Just like, hey, talk to your guy. This is not a good thing.
I mean, why was it unprofessional? That's what I don't understand. Because we all know Steven is a gamer. He's not trained. Okay, this is not meant as an insult. He's not a trained game designer. He doesn't have 20, 30 years of experience in game designing. He's just a guy who is smart, who has made a lot of money in other industries and now is making his own game. And he is calling out Amazon. And if you go to the Amazon Twitter post where they try to defend this stuff, it's hilarious. It's really one of the funniest things I ever read because it's just stupid in my opinion. And he clearly just he just said what other gamers, and he's a gamer himself. He's making ashes because he does not like stuff like this, right? So,
well, I agree that it was unprofessional strictly on the definition of the word unprofessional. Like you wouldn't go to an office building and talk to somebody about, hey, I really enjoyed it was stated you would include quality of life items like level boosts and trade skill boosts.
Okay,
you wouldn't do that.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
He's the face. He's the face of Intrepid Studios, so that's why it's unprofessional.
By the strict terms, it's unprofessional, but I don't think it was necessarily wrong or like terrible.
Okay, let me.
And there's a lot of. That's a big reason of why, a lot of what Steven being Steven is a lot of people. Why people backed Ashes of Creation and why people like Steven, like interviews with Steven, like the Ashes of Creation community. I liked his original post, and I don't think that going back and doing the Reddit post is a wrong thing to do,
no,
especially since
not.
he goes into more detail about what he means by a lot of things. Like I like a lot of the stuff he says in this. I just don't like if he at the bottom he says he will try to endeavor, like somewhere in there he says I will try to endeavor not to do this again, and like don't limit yourself. Like yes, have some like Margaret is there for your filter, but like don't limit yourself on some of the things that you on some of the things you say. I say Margaret's his filter. I'm not gonna like it's
I honestly I would rather see more of these, like, you know, like, because he sounds like a gamer. He sounds like somebody most people can relate to. And then he goes into the his Twitter post where he has to like he feel I just don't like the Reddit post. I think it's unnecessary. Like in my opinion, he doesn't have to apologize, because when did I move to Germany? Like 6-7 years ago, and I remember back living in New York and seeing these attack ads on the like in these commercials where Telecom or T-Mobile, right, forgotten the states, called T-Mobile, made fun about AT&T, Sprint, and a bunch of other cell phone companies. So I don't mind him literally calling out other studios for the dumb stuff they do, because mostly the people that call out other studios is content creators and gamers, right? And most of the time, our voices are not enough unless the whole community gets behind stuff. But if you then have people that are respected within the industry, and I at this point I would like to think that Steven is respected in the industry because of what he's trying to achieve, without being part of the usual cluster nightmare that is AAA studios and AAA publishers. If he now calls out a studio that is even his competitor, right? And he's not like calling them out in a toxic way. He's like, hey guys, gamers, don't do this. This is stupid.
Yeah. I mean, his post was really what every gamer that's been following the game was thinking. It really is almost word for word, probably what they would spout out without going into toxic mode. And like Bree was saying in chat, I mean, it's like he's a person talking and not him talking for Intrepid. I'm a firm believer in, you can separate the person and who they work for. That was Steven talking as a gamer.
Exactly.
And I'm okay with that.
And also from a business aspect, he didn't use it as a way to say, don't buy that game, play our game. He was literally saying, Amazon, why are you making this decision? You shouldn't be doing this. Like he's wanted them to make a better game. Instead of what normally, like your comparison to the attack ads, it's not a thing that he's trying to bring himself up. He's trying to help them.
Yeah. That's one of Steven's like long term. Like he's not making Ashes Creation to be the last MMO you ever play. He's making it, and he wants more MMOs
to succeed
out there. He's fine. He wants more MMOs to succeed. He like if Ashes Creation comes out and it does good and people like some of the things that Ashes Creation does, and more MMOs come out and try to like do more like different things or like better things, and he wants competition and he wants more MMOs to come out he wants the MMO genre to live instead of dying like it is right now.
Exactly. Like if you look at the past couple of years, Steven clearly said he knows very well that not everybody will like his game. He said that from the start. He said, I'm okay with not everybody liking my game. I'm making the game that I want to make, period. Right? And he's been communicating with other studios, wishing them best of luck, and being like a productive member of the gaming community as somebody that owns a studio. And that's why I'm like, hey Steven, if you want to take not even like a negative shot, but make a statement as a gamer, I feel like you don't have to apologize just because you own a studio.
I mean, if you just look at the popular games and such, honestly, you just need to make Fortnite into an MMO, and that would be the biggest money maker in the world. But he's not doing that because he's trying to make his vision, which he's acknowledged is not going to be like this other game, and is not trying to compete with that other game. It's supposed to exist alongside.
Honestly,
as an option.
If they would make a Fortnite MMORPG and it wouldn't have all the building crap and all the flossing in it, I probably would play that. I'll be honest with you. I probably would play that.
And all the flosses.
I cannot do the floss. I don't have the hand-eye whatever coordination you need. I cannot do the floss. I'm old, sorry. All right, next topic.
Okay. The dev discussion number 30, crafting.
All right, Yoni. Introduce us to the dev discussion. Tell us more.
All right, 1 second.
Because I have to find it. I have too many macros on my PC.
All right. So, dev discussion number 30, crafting. What are some examples of crafting systems and mechanics you've enjoyed from other games, and why? What percentage of your time do you typically find yourself engaged in crafting activities and in an MMO?
Vertek, you're the guest. You start us off.
All right. Well, as far as how long I typically spend crafting in an MMO, it really depends on their crafting system and how interesting it is or how useful it is. One or the other. If it's both interesting and useful, bonus. Then I'll be crafting a lot. But some of the big things that I love in crafting systems are when you can augment your gear with stats from another piece of gear. And I don't mean like you take this one piece and then you burn this other piece to maybe give it some experience to kind of level up and get a random stat or something like that. I mean, literally you take, say, one shield that has an intel bonus, and you take another shield that has an endurance bonus, and you steal the endurance bonus from one because it's a weaker shield overall, and you replace the intel bonus on the other shield. and you literally destroy one piece of gear to take stats from it to improve the other one with those specific stats. You're still destroying gear, which takes care of some, gear and whatever bloat, and it's still a sync, but it's more of a purposeful and less RNG sync.
All right. Daggerson, and what about you? You seem like somebody that spends a lot of time crafting.
I'm really not. But my comment on the post, I was kind of focused on I like crafting systems that are fun to think about. I guess what I mean by that, where it's a little bit more than just crafting an item is a little bit more than just having like 3 resources in your inventory and pressing a button. Like you have to make the components, and you have to memorize what it takes to make the components, and then combine those components to make your items. I like that because it kind of makes you, to me, it makes you feel like you're actually learning something. I also visually would like a little bit more done with crafting. Just crafting is usually just like a menu where you see like a bar go across and maybe some pretty animation if you successfully craft or have like a super successful craft. It'd be fun if it was like you saw your character actually doing the crafting or something like that. Kind of just random thoughts. I'm not the biggest crafter.
Yoni, what about you?
I love crafting. Crafting in MMORPGs though, there's not a whole lot. Like, so in crafting in MMORPGs, like generally gear wise, there's always better ways or better gear somewhere else. Like you raiding, that's how you get the best gear. Like screw getting crafted. Like that's kind of why I'm following Asher Creation, like crafting wise, Asher Creation crafting, because like you get the blueprints and materials stuff from raids, and then you go and craft that stuff. You don't, and like it's broken down into like, so like there's also the giant community wide. You're a gatherer, you're a processor, and you're a crafter. You're not one person doing everything either. But in MMOs, like I said, you don't, like, there's always better ways to get gear, PvP gear, raid gear, and that's the best gear. So gear wise, it's crafting's pointless at that point. Sometimes, most of the, like a lot of times, there are some exceptions in some MMOs. And then so then it comes down to so then you're just down to consumables, and then everyone can do everything, and then I'm not a big fan of that either, because like that's also a part of like, it takes away from the community aspect of an MMO. If I don't have to rely on anybody to do anything else, it shouldn't, like, the community aspect shouldn't just be, I need 40 people to go raid. That's in-game content. I need 5 people to be able to do this arena-based PvP. There's other aspects of the game that you should be able to have. Like MMOs as a whole should be a community aspect. And I like that Asher Creation is kind of going with that for their like most, if not all, their systems.
When it comes to crafting, in my experience, I never played an MMORPG or any game where I felt that crafting has like a super meaningful meaning or is super needed. For example, in World of Warcraft, the crafting that you do in World of Warcraft, you always do for certain items, just to have the items to help you or to give you a little bit of buff when it comes to buff food, or when it comes to, little gadgets in PvP with the engineering stuff, like the goblin gliders and all that stuff. It's, you don't do the crafting for the sake of crafting and getting better. You do it to get certain items. It's pretty much like going a quest. You just, do something and then you got it and then it's done. In the only time I kinda liked crafting, and I didn't really craft that much, was in Guild Wars 2, because for the last year of me playing Guild Wars 2, all I did was do the trading house, the auction house, and I treated it like a stock market. I bought certain things out, crafted something, put it back in, bought all of it back a week later, put it up for a higher price, and just make money that way. For me, crafting has always been more of a chore than something that I enjoy, which why I'm looking forward to the whole Ashes concept of being a master in one profession, because that gives, like, if you're really good at something, and Steven said, well, he said that certain people will be known across the server because they can make something nobody else can. Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That whole thing got me excited for crafting, because, like, yeah, if I can make a potion that nobody else can make, then hell yeah, give me that crafting system. Because at that point, you as a crafter, you as somebody that I remember when Black Desert Online came out, and I knew people that did not really care for the grind. All they did literally was just craft, and they loved that, right? I never got really into it, but they crafted, they traded, and I'm like, hey, that is actually kind of fun. That's pretty cool. I would like to do that as well, but they didn't have that whole being the best at crafting and something. So that's what I'm like hoping for when it comes to Ashes.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing that I miss about some games that I had played before, where crafting was important. You had a reason to craft besides, like, again, World of Warcraft, to use it as an example we always use. The crafting was used to get to the end bonus when you got to max level crafting, and that was pretty much it, except for engineering. Like blacksmithing, who uses any of the blacksmith crafted gear outside of a fresh max level? Which all you got to do is go to a dungeon and you suddenly have much better gear.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, but if it's going to end up being the best gear in the game after getting some blueprints and pieces and parts from raiding, that excites me, because there's a reason for it. Because you only do crafting really for a couple things. You're either really happy about being helpful, or you really like to make money. And if it's not important to a game and a core part of a game, and it's just there to get you to a buff at the end, then crafting just becomes uninteresting and not useful.
That's how I see it.
I also like the fact that in AOC you have 2 degradation bars. You like what they've explained so far. You have 2 degradation bars. You have the I'm degraded, I need to be repaired, and then the degradation bar of permanent degradation. You need to get a new item. Degradation bar. So like every time your degradation goes down, you repair it, your permanent degradation bar goes down. And so like every time you repair it, it just needs to get repaired more and more frequently until it's like just get a new weapon. And so that keeps crafting, it keeps people needing crafters. And then number 2, it also keeps where you get that kind of stuff. Like if I'm going out, if I have raid gear, and if I go to a raid and if I have all the stuff from the raid, I'm no longer doing that raid. There are very few raids where you're doing the raid anymore if you don't need anything from the raid. Yeah. It keeps the raids needed. It keeps content needed. The dungeons, raids, wherever you're going to get those crafting materials, it keeps that stuff relevant to where and people keep doing it because they need it.
You see, for me, what I would like to see crafting is like, okay, let's say you have the World of Warcraft kind of system. You learn all the recipes, yada yada yada, but then you can like do like a trial and error kind of system. Let's say you have you maxed out, let's take blacksmithing, for example, or weaponsmithing, whatever you want to call it. And you have the recipe for the best shield. Now, because you are a master at blacksmithing, at making shields, now you have the option for a system that normally nobody else has access to, which allows you to tinker and create something even better through trial and error with different materials, and that is time consuming. That would be really, really cool, because now you have a shield that is +5 defense, right? But because you're the master in making shields and you have access to this unique system where you can use different materials to reforge the shield, you might break the shield, or you might turn the +5 defense shield into a +10 defense shield.
Their idea was the enchantment.
It is?
Yeah, because like the way that they've explained their enchantment system is that like you have a percentage chance of enchant. Like if you enchant, you have a percentage chance of getting like bonuses on it, or you have a percentage chance of just destroying the item entirely.
Yeah, I know,
or getting a bad enchantment on it.
Yeah, but what I meant is like for the crafter, not the enchantment system, like for the crafter himself, instead of creating a +5 defense shield, you know, because he's a master at making one specific item, that he now has an extra system where he can risk like all the materials and have like a low chance, and over time that chance becomes bigger because he becomes better. You know what I mean? Like
they've talked about wanting to do so they've talked about like a system to where you have the blueprint for a weapon, but you don't have to use like certain material. You can make it out of different materials and it'll do different effects. So like I'm making it out of mithril and it'll have like a magic bonus, or I'm making it out of steel and it'll have like a strength bonus. Like different materials, whatever, depending on what you make the weapon out of, it'll change what that weapon does and how it looks too. Is what Steven's wanting, but like that's not like he's wanting a creation suite for the weapons, but that's not like 100%.
We were gonna have the dial system. But that I don't know if I've heard it talked about in a long time. Where
I haven't.
You can unlock different dials and adjust the stats on the items and give like new passive or a bunch of different. Basically, you have complete control over what you put on the item. Well, not complete control, but you have a lot of control of what you can put on the item. Like different passive skills, or I think possibly active ones, as well as different stats.
Yeah, no, curious question for you. Because something I thought of before is, how would you rate a system that, for instance, once you hit Grandmaster and you hit the maximum you possibly can, something else unlocks where you can spend, say, 1 hour of real time doing actual work on the item to get like a 5 or 10% boost out of it. But you have to actually spend that like 1 hour of actually doing some kind of mini game activity. It doesn't have to be all at once, but let's say it'd be a mastercraft thing sitting in the back of your shop, and every once in a while you pull it out and you do a little tinkering for 5-10 minutes here and there.
I like the idea of like the mini game system. I like the mini game system. I constantly like link this sort of online abridged episode where the crafting system has a little mini game to it, and that's how you create. That's how you get like better and better stuff to it. The time investment thing. So like, number one, I don't want like time gated stuff. Like in Guild Wars 2, you have a time gated. You're time gated into how much is in the materials you can make. And then number two is like, I don't like the time investment thing is a very iffy thing, because then some people are okay with it. Some people think the time investment thing's too long, like with Arcage, for a perfect example, not Arcage, Ark Survival Evolved. It takes a day, 2 days to tame a dinosaur, and then people will go to servers that just has the time shortened. I'm not like that's an extreme. That's an extreme, but like spending an hour on being able to craft like a percentage type thing, you have it to where like that's you get rewarded for it, and it's a worthwhile reward, like to some people, but at the same time, it's like some people just feel like it's not worth it. Not worth it. I don't know. I'm not finding a blank there.
That's kind of how you'd want it, I would think, is you'd want it to not necessarily be the meta thing, but like something that a person who like really likes crafting could do to get an advantage or get like a little buff to their item.
Yeah,
and that's why I was kind of thinking like a heavy time investment, like an hour for a marginal increase, like 5%. I mean, the hardcore raiders would absolutely pay possibly twice as much for something like that, if not at least 50% more. So there's got to be some crafters out there that are like, yeah, I'll spend an hour doing that. Why not?
I mean,
yeah, because you're gonna charge more because there's also an extra time investment thing.
I would love for crafting to be something where people can, like, literally, that can be their main thing. I don't think I ever recalled that any MMORPG that I played where you had crafters. Okay, I mean, yes, certain games like Black Desert Line, Arcade, you know, they have, or even in World of Warcraft, you have people that do crafting as their main gameplay portion of the game, but the game is not designed around that. And I think in most MMORPG,
ESO and Mortal Online are two of the games where like
don't touch ESO, so I don't know.
Mortal Online,
Darkfall had it too.
Darkfall did have it. So like there are some games with good crafting systems that aren't.
No. I'm not talking about good crafting. Something like dedicated crafting systems where you don't only do the crafting. You don't like, and you can still be like one of the top players in the game.
Yeah, good dedicated crafting. Top player in the game. I don't know. Like with Mortal Online, you're pretty much making a character that all he does is crafting. ESO would probably be the best. I think the best one you could probably like draw a comparison to for dedicated crafter, and the gear still means something, and then also the character can still be competitive.
I mean, we have to. When are we getting crafting again in Ashes? What testing phase?
You're probably gonna see first pass of what they actually want crafting to look like. Probably Alpha 2. I don't want to like put words. I think that they said Alpha 2.
Alpha 2.
Is when you're gonna see first pass. First pass. I want to be very clear on that. First pass of craft of like the artisan system.
Right.
Artisan class system. Yeah.
Is there anything else we have to talk about because we hit our 1 hour mark?
Vertex,
is there any topic you want to talk about since you're our guest today?
For anybody watching, I want to reiterate things that have been reiterated a bunch of times everywhere. With the stuff that's still in NDA, dear Lord, please keep in mind it is still under NDA. Like, you can't really talk about anything about the experience, even so much as like, hey, I'm testing today because it's active right now. No, you can't say something like that. You can say that I am in the Alpha 1 test because, I mean, it shows up on your forums and such like that. Like, it's a title and it's listed in Discord. But the other day when we were doing our stream, right afterwards, we rated somebody because they were the only person on in the Ashes of Creation category.
Yeah.
And their title said, hey, let's talk Ashes while we play other games. And we said, perfect. So we brought 80 people over there and rated them. And some of the first words out of their mouth were, hey, how's this happen? I only have 9 people join me most of the time. My wife logs on to try to play Ashes of Creation, and she gets, raided with a bunch of people. What's going on here? My wife's just sitting there playing Ashes of Creation, guys. Don't mind her. Oh, no. Granted, they didn't have it on screen. Like, they had the wiki up, and she was just sitting there, and you could hear, like, music in the background. But they weren't displaying the game.
Why?
But still, like,
why?
I don't know. And I even warned him, like, right off the bat. I said, you guys got to be careful. This is still under NDA. Like, all of that's still under NDA. Like, the entire experience is under NDA.
That hurts me. That hurts my brain a little bit.
Our hearts sank immediately.
There were a lot of people breaking NDA and then skirting the lines of what's allowed and what's not allowed.
At this point, I'm surprised nobody tried to stream it.
They did. Someone tried to stream it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I want to spread that. Like.
No. Okay. Let me rephrase it. Compared to other games that were in development the last couple of years, or other games that are currently in development that had alpha testing phases, majority of them, from what I've seen, the NDA broke.
Yeah. The
NDA got broken by somebody.
The people break NDA all the time on certain things. Like other games, you'll see a bunch of people break NDA. People have been fairly okay with it for the most part so far. There was people yesterday that were breaking NDA.
Yes.
But mods took care of it fairly quickly.
Oh, good job, mods! You did your job. Congrats.
And yeah, the community was very on top of like reporting people that were breaking NDA.
They're on top of that. All right. Everybody, make sure to check out the Golden Feathers. Otherwise, I will haunt you in your nightmares. And trust me, you do not want to see me in a Borat outfit in your dreams. So go check out the Golden Feather. Trust me, they are doing a really good job. And they will be official content creators very, very soon. Otherwise, I will have words with people in Intrepid. I will have words. And besides that, again, everybody, thanks for watching. We now go into the fun portion of the podcast where we, can talk unfiltered, which is called the After Hour, where we will be on the official Ashes Creation Discord. If you want to join us and talk Ashes, feel free to join us. And as always, stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you on the Ash Subscription Community Discord.
Peace.
Later.
You know what I need to do? I need to make like an outro for the podcast. After 4 years, we should have that. Anyways, bye.